Welcome everyone to my sewing studio. My name's Maria. I'm known on social media as VeloSews, so welcome to VeloSews Studio. In this video, it's Friday sew, so I'm going to talk you through the sewing that I've done this week. I'll talk you through what's happening with the podcast this week, a couple of things about Sew Over 50, which you might find really interesting, and also the new dates that are coming up for body scans for Mimiquins here in Australia, because I do the body scans for Mimiquins. So let's get started. What I'm wearing today is a top that I made for using Butterick 3390, and it's Allison Co's Vintage Bouquet Textiles. It's on a cotton base, and today has been really hot. It's about 32 degrees Celsius. So it's warm and humid, and I just really needed to wear something that I can breathe in quite well. When I left you last week, I did a few videos on things that I had in the pipeline. One of the things that I did talk about was all of the patterns that I had in a corner of my sewing room that needed to be cleaned out. In the end, I think I've got 2 more of these rolls that I need to cut out and put into packets, and they're stocks patterns, so I want to be really careful with how I cut them out. Thank you, Lindy. I'm really loving using stocks patterns, and these are going to be filed into the right place so that I can use them in future. I can find them and use them, which would be really good. Last week, I'll show you the fabric that I was talking about. So this is white drill, and it's got no stretch and it's opaque. So I was dithering about what to make, and I thought about a shirt dress that was fitted and it had a waist. I've made a decision, and today I spent a couple of hours drawing off the block patterns, and I've decided to make this into boot cut pants. I'll show you what the top of the front pants looks like, because I'm doing some different types of pockets on this particular one. So I'll just show you what I've done. Speaking of pockets, this month on Minerva.com, one of the initiatives that they've got going that anyone can take part in is about pockets. So what I did today was I drafted a few different pockets that I'll be using this month. So the first one is the basic pocket that is sewn into the side seam. What I tend to do is I like to make sure that the pocket is secured not just at the side seam but also at the waist, so that it doesn't sort of flip around too much. So that's the first one that I'm thinking about putting into the white drill trousers. Yep. I did play with the patch pocket pattern for the front on the dark blue chambray fabric that I used 2 weeks ago. This is the pattern here, and I've actually widened it. I've added another 2 centimeters to the side because I felt that, yes, it did fit my iPhone into it, but it was really snug, so I've given myself a little bit more room. So I've got the fold line, all the cutting information, and it's 1 centimeter seams. And lastly, what I did was I did a similar style pocket for the back. So what I did do was I took the same pattern and made it a little bit shorter, and then at the bottom on the corners I halved the pattern, folded it together, folded the side, one of the side corners inwards, so that I've now got a balance of the base of the back pocket with all of the seam information there. So that will go at the back of the jeans. However, the other thing that I did, and I'll show you this now. So today being Friday, I spent some time with some friends in a sewing room, and I think I probably spent 4 hours straight tracing off all the patterns onto paper, so that so I've traced them off the blocks that I did in the pattern making course, and now I'm at the point where this is the front pants, and as you can see there, I've done the lines for a jeans pocket, so that's the opening of the jeans pocket. So I now have the pocket bag and the pocket facing. What you'll also see is I've also got where the patch pocket will sit. So that line is my guide so that I know where to place it. And the other thing too is with the pocket that usually you would put in the side seams, I know where to put it on this pants pattern as well. So this is the boot cut pants front leg, and it's got all of the pocket placement at the front. So that was one of the things that I did today. So as you can guess, I've got a lot of pattern pieces sitting in the same space as the pants patterns, and I'll get to cutting out the drill fabric next week, and once that gets done I'll sew them up fairly quickly. So I'm really pleased that I've actually made a decision. What I'm going to do with the rest of the fabric is another decision to be made. Next week is Toowoomba Frocktails, which I'm going to. So I'm leaving next week Friday, coming back on Sunday. So I thought, oh, how about I make something new rather than wearing something that I've already got. I do have some backup dresses that I'm going to take with me. So what I did was I made the capri or the cigarette style pants and a plain top kind of like this in a sort of 50s or 50s vintage print. And I tried it on. So I finished this on, today's Friday, I finished it on Tuesday, and I tried it on in this heat and humidity. And I thought, this isn't going to work, because if I go to Queensland, which I am doing, and I wear it, honestly, it's going to feel uncomfortable. And I think it's because the fabric is a cotton sateen. I'll just show you. This is the fabric, and it's got a lot of stretch in it, which was kind of interesting. Love the colours, love the print, and I'm really pleased that I could make it, and I will wear it this weekend to dinner with friends. I did learn a lot making the capri pants. So with the pants themselves, I'll just show you some little details so that you know what's what. So it's got the fitted waistband. I've used a zipper that you won't get to see, but it's from my stash. And I've got pockets in the side seams. So, I mean, it's going to be a really cool outfit or a coord, but I didn't want it to look too unkept. It's not going to go to, I might go to, look, I can't make up my mind. Anyway, so the next thing I thought was, hang on a second, I've got some really nice fabric that I could make that feels really wonderful. So what you can see behind me is some linen fabric that I got from Cloth Edit as one of their, like a subscription box. Anyway, I bought it, and it's a really lovely linen, possibly a linen blend. So this is the work in progress at the moment. It's got a V-neck. I've got it pinned. I haven't finished off the neckline yet, and I'm not going to rush this because it needs to be fitted correctly. I figured out when I looked at the pattern that I had made, so on the original dress that I made for Minerva, I did like a C-cup adjustment, and then I lowered the front here on the bodice so that it would give me more room for the volume that I needed, right? That's what we do this sort of thing for. Anyway, so I thought that's why it was so billowy, because my body shape has changed again, and there's a little bit less of me, so I don't need all of that volume that's there. So I'm still trying to figure out how to flatten that down, but at the end of the day, if it looks like that, I'm fine with it. What I figured out was, on the Amelia dress, it's got a really lovely flutter sleeve. That's the piece there. But I've gone and done all of the work to make sure that you can see a waistline. And then when I put the sleeve on, you don't see that anymore. It gets hidden. So, hang on, I'll put it on the other side so you can see it better. So this is a sleeve. I've been trying to pin it to figure out, do I leave it this billowy? Don't I leave it this billowy? So these are the silly decisions I go through to make sure that if I put all the effort into making this dress, that it looks really good and not just, yeah, right, there's another dress in a beautiful fabric. Gabrielle, I really love this fabric, and the girls that I was sewing with today, I think one of them was about to steal the sleeve because it felt so good. So good on you for picking this print. They love the colours and I love them too. So as you can see, I've done all this work to have a decent waist showing, but if I have this sleeve the way it is, I think I'm going to lose that definition. So what I'm going to do is I'll leave the length, but I'll use my block, and the block is pretty much a fitted sleeve. I'll leave it for the same length, and I might just put a lace insert between the edge of the sleeve and maybe 4 centimeters above it. I might put the lace insert there. I'll just get one. Found it. Okay, so this is the lace insert that I'm thinking of putting at the bottom of the sleeve. So here's what I'm thinking. And I used this lace insert for a designer stitch blouse that I did last year in red and white print. I think it was the Rian blouse. So I'm just pinning this on so that you can see whether it's going to work or not. So I'm going to recut the sleeve, take the fullness out of it, and make sure that the sleeve is fitted. And I don't know if you can see it there. Let's have a look. Okay, so I'm thinking of having that as a trim. So I'll have a fitted sleeve for the same length of this particular sleeve, and use this lace as just a bit of interest. The key thing is, if I've got a waistline, I want to use it. I want to show it rather than hide it. So that's where I'm at with this particular dress. So thank you for putting up with that. So again, it's the Amelia dress replacing the 50s or 60s set that I thought might work, but I'm going to wear that this weekend anyway. Onto the podcast. I have successfully moved it from one platform to another, and that was due to cost. So the original platform, the cost of hosting it went up by 40%. So I found another platform that is hosting it for free, and they've helped me with updating the logo, which is really great. I hadn't had that assistance before on the previous platform. I did get a lot of help from the original podcast platform when I started, and I'm getting a lot of help from the current one as well, so I'm really pleased with that. This week, Lisa Simpson, who is Sneaker Stitch Australia, she's on the podcast. She talks about her how she's gotten to where she is in introducing sew your own sneakers in Australia, and she's offering free shipping for Australian purchases. Go to the podcast website or to the podcast Instagram page for the free shipping code. So that's available for all Australian purchases for listeners of Sew Organised Style podcast. On to Sober 50 news. I think we're moving over to a new logo there as well. So have a look at Sober 50 on Instagram, because there was a bit of a vote, and you might see a new logo for Sober 50 followers. Next week, I'm on the social media team. So next week is going to be very busy and a bit of a juggle, being on the team, not just at home, but in Queensland as well towards the end of the weekend. But it's going to be fun. It's always fun. And lastly, there are some moves happening at the moment. If you are interested in purchasing your own custom dress form, a Mimiquin from the UK, I'm the body scanner that they have here in Australia. I'm working on some dates for the next lot of body scans, and there'll be a Canberra date or dates that we're working on, and some here in Sydney. So watch this space. I'll make announcements about that once they're all confirmed. And I'm really excited that, you know, people in Australia want to have their own custom dress form, a Mimiquin dress form based on their body shape, proportions, everything like that, so that you can be more accurate with your sewing, and maybe even do some draping of fabric on your dress form. This is your opportunity. The dress form that I've got here is just a run-of-the-mill dress form that I use just to show you what I've got. My Mimiquins dress form is actually being used at the moment. It's in another room, and she doesn't have any clothes on, so I don't know that you'd want to see the Mimiquin of my body scan. Well, it's what I have to work with, right? So I'm really pleased that I've got it. I'm Maria. I'm known as VeloSews on social media. Thank you for joining me in my sewing room today, VeloSews Studio. Hopefully you'll join me next time when there is a Friday Sews update of the sewing that I've done. Cheers and have a good weekend. Bye.